You know, right beneath our feet and tucked away behind our walls, there is a whole world that we almost never see. It's a network that's absolutely essential to our daily lives. So today, we're going to use a case study from San Marcos, Texas, to go underground and explore this hidden world of your home's plumbing.
It's a really interesting question when you stop to think about it, right? Because that whole system of pipes, the one you never see, it's working 24/7, and boy, does it have a story to tell.
And believe me, it's not just a boring story about water and drains. No, it's a story that's shaped by the actual ground your house is built on, by the year it was constructed, and by all these hidden pressures it has to deal with every single day. So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the system itself, the hidden network. Then we'll dive into the unique challenges they face in our case study location. After that, we'll check out the cool tools and the pros who fix these problems. And finally, we'll learn how to actually read the signals our own homes are sending us.
Okay, section 1. Before we get into all the problems, let's just get on the same page about what we're even dealing with here. What exactly is this hidden network? Honestly, thinking of it as your home's circulatory system is the perfect analogy. You've got fresh water coming in, waste going out, and when it's all working the way it should, you don't even give it a second thought. But just like our bodies, when one little part fails, the entire system really starts to feel the strain.
And now for section 2. You know, every good story needs a villain. And in this one, well, we've got a few. In a place like San Marcos, Texas, that hidden plumbing network is under constant attack from some very specific, very local bad guys. So, first up is the chemical attacker, hard water. The local water comes from the Edwards Aquifer, and it is just loaded with minerals. These things don't just flow through, they cling to the inside of your pipes, slowly, year after year, building up like plaque in an artery. Eventually, they can choke off the water flow and just wreak havoc on your appliances.
Next, there's a geological threat. The town of San Marcos sits right on something called the Balcones Fault zone. What does that mean? It means the ground itself is always shifting, just a little bit. But that subtle movement puts incredible stress on the rigid pipes buried under your home, leading to cracks and those horrible slab leaks that can do major damage before you ever even know they're there.
And finally, we've got a historical villain. A lot of homes built before the 1970s used galvanized steel pipes. The problem is, they rust, but they rust from the inside out. So not only does this kill your water pressure, but it can actually flake off rust particles right into your drinking water. It's a ticking time bomb, literally decades in the making. So with all these different threats, how in the world do you fight back? Well, this brings us to the modern plumber's toolkit, which is way more advanced than you might think. I mean, this is where it gets really high-tech. Plumbers don't have to guess anymore. They can literally send a tiny camera on a long cable deep into your pipes to see exactly what's causing a clog. Tree roots, grease, you name it. And for leaks, they use these super sensitive listening devices to find the precise spot of a hidden leak, saving you from having to tear up your entire yard or foundation. It's pretty amazing. And this slide shows the huge difference in how you can solve a problem. A traditional snake, it really just pokes the hole through a clog. It works, but it's often just a temporary fix. Hydrojetting, on the other hand, is basically like pressure washing the inside of your pipes. It uses high-pressure water to blast away years of gunk, restoring the pipe to almost new. One is a patch, the other is a real solution. But of course, all the best tools in the world don't mean much if the person using them doesn't know what they're doing. So what really separates a true professional from, just some person with a wrench? A real pro has a few key things you should always look for. Number 1, they have a valid state license. They'll also give you a clear upfront price in writing before they start the work. They know the specific local building codes, and, this is crucial, they are insured and they guarantee their work. These aren't just details, they're your protection. Look, a service call should never be a mystery. A professional process is super clear and simple. It's basically 3 steps. First, you call when they dispatch the right person for the job. Second, they diagnose the problem and get your approval on the work and the cost. And only then, third, do they do the repair and make sure it's working perfectly. It's transparent and it keeps you in control the whole time.
All right, let's get to our final section, and honestly, this might be the most important part of this whole explainer. We're going to talk about how you can start to decode the signals that your own home is sending you.
Let's kick things off with a classic. You hop in the shower, you turn it on, and it's just this weak trickle. Ugh, what on earth could be causing that? Well, take a look.
Do these potential causes sound a little familiar? They should. They tie right back to those villains we were just talking about. It could be that hard water scale buildup, it could be rust from those old galvanized pipes, or it could even be that hidden slab leak that's stealing water before it even gets to your shower. Okay, here's another really common one. That weird gurgling sound your toilet makes after you flush. Or maybe when your washing machine is draining nearby. What is your plumbing trying to tell you with that sound? That gurgle, that's basically the sound of your plumbing system gasping for air. It usually means there's a blockage somewhere down the line or that the vent stack on your roof is clogged. But here's the big one. It can be a very early warning sign that your main sewer line is about to back up, and you do not want that. And that's exactly why these signals are so critical. This quote from our source material really says it all. These are not problems that just get better by themselves. Water damage happens incredibly fast, and a professional response that's measured in hours, not days, can literally save you thousands of dollars. So at the end of the day, your home is talking to you. It speaks the language of drips and gurgles and weird pressure changes. And learning to understand that language, that is your absolute best defense against a really expensive disaster. And that's the thought we want to leave you with today. The next time you hear a strange noise or you notice that the water's not flowing quite right, don't just ignore it. Stop for a second and ask yourself, what is my home trying to tell me?